welcome everyone to the second episode of 2019. That's right. It's the episode where Scott's shaking his head.
It just sounds weird to me. 2019?
Yeah.
I can't get over that. I cannot get over the fact that it's 2019.
Yeah.
I know it's weird. It's just me.
So I know there's a lot of people right now that are saying, for the ball drop for the end of this year, they want Barbara Walters, as ancient as she is, to do that, so that when the year ends, she can say, "It's 2020." And I know a lot of people are not going to get that joke. A lot of people are just, the millennials out there are going to be scratching their head. So what? It's 2020. The joke is Barbara Walters used to be a news anchor on a show called 2020.
Hello, it's Barbara Walters.
Yeah.
Welcome to 2020.
Yeah. At the same time, I really want to buy a car and say it's a 2020 model. But it's going to be really weird because, all my life growing up, we've always referred to, the 1920s as the 20s. I can't do that anymore. As soon as we hit, 2020, we're going to have to say the 1920s.
Well, yeah, but I mean, let's face it. How many times are you going to still talk about the 1920s at that point? I guess no, because
Yeah. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that's happened. In the 1920s, the 1930s, the 1940s. I mean, eventually we're going to get those points where you're going to have to say 1920, 1930, 1940s instead of in the 40s. That's when World War One and even World War Two and that happened.
It already annoys me to have to say 1820s. So
yeah,
here we go.
There you go. But that's okay. So that's not what we're here to talk about. We're not here to talk about history and dates and Barbara Walters and stuff like that. No, we are here to talk about the amazing awesomeness that is, Aquaman. Or maybe it's not amazing. Maybe it's not awesome. You never know.
I'm actually kind of excited about this because, Daniel, you and I haven't talked about Aquaman yet.
No, not yet.
And I've heard so many different opinions out there.
Well, here's the deal. Everyone right now is in my opinion, is a little biased because they have seen Marvel movies, which have been done really well, so their level of expectations for a superhero movie is very high, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They are very high.
And so because of that, I feel like DC has a little unfair advantage here. Now,
you mean Marvel has a little unfair advantage over this DC film? Is that what you're saying?
Well, okay, yeah. So DC has a disadvantage. Marvel has an unfair advantage. But all in all, that's just the name of the game. Whoever gets there first wins the prize. I mean, we've seen it with Tesla and Edison. We've seen it with Ford. I mean, that's how it is. Whoever can get to the finish line first generally dominates the market.
You see, you say that, but Batman Begins, I still love the Dark Knight trilogy. Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy is still so beautiful. And even then, the 80s Batman, or 90s? 80s and 90s Batman.
Yeah.
I love those movies. Yes, they don't exactly stand up to the test of time, to the test of reality.
Yeah.
But honestly, and that's going to be my opinion of this movie, neither does this one.
But see, and that's where I feel like DC is kind of lost their footing. They're trying to keep these characters memorable, which they are.
That's true. Very memorable.
But at the same time, if you look at Marvel's characters, a lot of their characters are very common sense based. Everyone can relate to Peter Parker. They've been in high school. They've gone through the struggles he's gone through in one way or another. They've had financial woes where they've had to struggle financially. They've had maybe a bully pick on them. They've been through that, oh man, I got homework, and so on and so forth.
I'm going to pause you right there because what are you talking about? That's exactly what Aquaman is. He is the everyday man being put into these crazy situations in this.
But he's not. So that's the thing is with DC, as much as I love DC, I'm a huge DC fan, their heroes are a little very unbelievable. In when it comes to based in reality. Whenever will you be able to really understand Bruce Wayne. You know, you have more money than you have common sense at your disposal.
I'll be okay with that. I will be all right with that.
I'm sure everyone would be all right with that. But when can you ever say, yeah, I know what it's like to be able to just, write a check and buy a hotel at a whim?
Well, on those, yeah. In that regard. But as far as like having bullies, like we said in Aquaman, as far as being in crazy situations and reacting like, what?
Well, see,
like same with that.
But in the Aquaman movie, I feel like that's what they were trying to do, kind of toning it down and making it a little bit more like Marvel with the bully situation, so that you can relate to that character, which I think was good. I think that was a good marketing. They needed that.
We should probably say spoiler. This is a spoiler review. The movie's been out for 3 weeks. If you haven't seen it, you need to go see it. And if you haven't seen it, pause the show, come back to us in a week.
I mean, that point of the bully, I don't think is much of a spoiler because you see that in the trailer.
No, I'm just saying we're going to get into spoilers.
You're right. But as far as...
knowing me, I'm just going to right out.
Let's look at Justice League. I do not feel like their version of the Flash is even believable or real.
No.
He's the socially awkward, inept character that I need friends. Barry Allen was the heart and soul of the Justice League, so much so that they're, even in the cartoon and in various comic book iterations, that on a different Earth, the Flash dies.
Right. And
he is the anchor, and they turn evil. He is the one that kept them grounded. In that's where you get Ultraman and Supergirl and Owlman and that.
No, I do agree. I do agree that he needs to be grounded. But I don't know. I liked that character, but at the same time, I agree. That's not the classic Flash that we've always seen.
And so,
but bringing that back to
the DC does fantastic when it comes to television. When they have longer than a couple hours to tell a story, I think they deliver believable, well-rounded, likable characters.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like in this one, they delivered believable, fairly well-rounded
You're right,
characters.
And I agree with that. With Aquaman, I feel like Jason Momoa is a much more believable Aquaman than we have ever seen before.
Yeah, agreed.
Even
100%.
when he puts on the traditional Aquaman suit with the yellowish, goldish, fish fins on top and the green pants below, he looked the part. Yes, he didn't. It wasn't blonde, crop top hair.
Mm-hmm.
He looked like like an Islander. He fit the part, and I like that they've done that. That is the one thing that I have enjoyed.
No, I agree. His character, should we get into... I should probably hold my gripes until the end, even about the suit, the orange and green.
The suit was weird. I will admit that. The big weird greaves. I mean, what the heck?
It reminded me of Green Lantern, the CGI suit.
Yeah.
It was... And see, and that's the thing, like the characterization. Love the characterization of this movie. The pain for me, the downfall, was the fact that I went into this movie and what I got was an animated cartoon. And I wasn't expecting them to actually have real life sharks, obviously, but it started slow, it picked up. We had that Wakanda moment. Welcome to Wakanda. Yeah. But then it just it was all CG. Everything was CG.
And I get it. They were using the Throne of Atlantis storyline from the New 52 series, which is a fantastic story.
It is.
But
it is a fantastic story.
It was so CG'd. I mean, it was really weird when they started moving off and they're swimming, and they looked weird. They looked very CG'd. I will admit that really distracted me.
And then in the end, it was like, as he accepted his mantle of the CG, he accepted the CG uniform. You know what I mean? Like, That's how it felt. That's how it felt to me.
I don't know. I feel like maybe part of the suit was actual real suit. Then they CG'd over it to make it all shiny and glimmery.
Well, it was for like that final battle. Like when he comes out of the waterfall, it looks fairly believable.
Yeah.
But when, during the final battle, I'm just like...
I did love the fact that they did make his brother Ocean Master. He had the mask and looked like Ocean Master. I really felt like the characters looked like how they should have.
Yeah.
The CG stuff, was kind of goofy and weird, and the huge kraken monster that burst out, and that was awesome. I enjoyed that, but I'm just like, really? Did we need that? But okay, we got that.
Was that part of the original story?
No, that wasn't in the Throne of Atlantis, but it was kind of cool. You got this giant beast that's been slumbering for years, and now we can talk to it, so it's now his pet. It's like, okay, awesome.
See now, and that I hope that they never do a Wonder Woman versus Aquaman story, because I know in the comics they have the Amazons and
so if they ever do a Flashpoint Paradox movie, actually that does happen.
Well, I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, but in real movies, like how much they have built up Aquaman's kingdom, and how much they've built up Atlantis, how huge the kingdoms are, not just Atlantean kingdom, but all the other kingdoms, and armies. Like those are immense armies. Mm-hmm. I feel sorry for the Amazons because they are much smaller on this little island. Like,
I mean, we'll have to see. We do know that they're doing another Wonder Woman 1984, which will be, interesting how they go about doing that, especially since Steve Trevor is back and Chris Pine is playing him. The only way I can see that happens is he's like maybe a great grandkid or something like that. I don't know.
I'm looking forward to seeing how they pull it off.
I would like to see how he does that. I feel like they've got a strong Aquaman. Granted, the movie was not perfect.
No, definitely was not perfect.
It was a fun ride. I wouldn't call it an amazing movie.
I wouldn't call it a flop either.
But it's not a flop.
It's earning a lot of money, and it deserves the money that it's making.
If I remember right, it's still number one right now.
Yeah.
Granted, Rotten Tomatoes only has a 64, 65%?
I think they had 60. Wasn't it 60%
or
on
even
Rotten
60.
Tomatoes?
That's still not bad, considering...
65.
Okay, right. 65. That's still not bad, considering how low it could be.
Yeah.
What is the Rotten Tomato rating for Phantom Menace?
Oh, I don't think you want to know that.
Well, let's just look at that in comparison. I know a lot of people dislike Phantom Menace.
Or should we do like Batman versus Superman?
Sure, Batman versus Superman. That's on even ground. That just to be fair, because Phantom Menace. That's not really fair. We know that's already low. All right, so what is the Rotten Tomato score for
Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice? 27% from critics, 63% from audiences.
Okay, so it's actually almost on par then.
27% from critics, though? I guess we don't care about critics, right?
Well, I guess we sort of are critics, but not really critics.
I feel like we're more like normal people.
Yeah, we're closer to the normal man. So, as far as the everyday Joe, they're pretty close. Yeah. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Surprisingly enough. Like, I'm legitimately surprised about that.
Okay.
But no, it's because Aquaman is getting 80% from the audiences.
Okay.
And again, everybody's loving it. I hear that it just topped Wonder Woman as far as ticket sales for the first couple weeks. Which is awesome.
Which is saying that DC's gotten their feet under them.
And I'm not saying it's awesome because it was better than Wonder Woman. What I'm saying is it's awesome that they are picking up speed. Yeah. Like originally, I was really figuring that we were going to see an Aquaman movie, we were going to see a Wonder Woman movie, and then Wonder Woman did so well. I thought that those were going to be it. That was it. Yeah. And then Wonder Woman did well, so now we're getting a second Wonder Woman, and now Aquaman is doing surprisingly well. So I wonder if this is hope for the universe.
And I think it is, and this is my opinion. They should have done what Marvel did.
Of course they should.
Where we got a collection of one-off movies of the characters, letting us know who these characters are in this new playground, and then putting them together. Not doing all right, well, we've got the Man of Steel out there. Let's do Batman versus Superman. We'll throw Wonder Woman in there. Now we got to form the Justice League, and then we'll give everyone else. And I get what they were trying to do. They're trying to play catch up with Marvel, and I think that's what really hindered them.
Oh, of course.
Because if we would have used the same dynamic that Marvel used, now granted, it would look like they're piggybacking using the same formula, but in the business world, that happens a lot. Why break something if it's working? Use it to your advantage. Why remake the wheel? I guess the the slogan is there. But they should have done that.
Yeah.
If we would have got the Wonder Woman we got, the Aquaman we got, yes, we already had Superman. It was okay. A Batman that we could get behind, and then a Flash movie we can get behind. Then bring them all together. Throw in Cyborg during the Justice League. That would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then really move forward. I think they would have gained a lot more speed and ground for him.
But then again, if they would have brought these other two first, if they would have put a Batman, then an Aquaman, and then a Wonder Woman movie, if those three would have been the first ones out, what I would be afraid of is that they would have fallen victim to the same thing that the first Superman movie fell to. They were trying to make it too real, too dark, and it flopped.
I mean, that may have been the case. You're right. I feel like they have lightened up the mood. I mean, even the lighting in these two, in Wonder Woman and Aquaman, was really bright tones. There wasn't a lot of dark. There were some, but it wasn't most of the movie like we saw with Superman and Batman versus Superman, and even Justice League. I don't think people like dark all the time,
no.
Especially with their heroes. They want to be inspired. They want to have hope. They want that light. And I think that's what really bugs me about the Flash character is he's not that. He's not very, you look at Flash on TV and he's always hopeful, even when things are tough and things are down.
Well, except for certain seasons.
You're right. But he still has self-doubt about himself, but he's always still trying to think of the positive, trying to find a way to solve whatever the problem is, even though it doesn't look good.
You see, and that's why I still hold out hope. After seeing these last two movies, I hold out hope that they're going to do the same thing to the Flash that they did to Wonder Woman and to Aquaman. Because frankly, Aquaman was a little not quite in the movies, in the previous movie. He just wasn't quite there, but you could see where in the reshoots they kind of made him more like that. Like when he was sitting on the lasso of truth. Yeah. That was hilarious.
Oh, that was perfect.
Loved that moment, and it all of a sudden made him just so much more, wow, this guy, like you can have a serious character that has a funny moment.
You want to know what? I would have loved that more if that would have been Batman.
Yeah.
Because the Batman we've got is very gruff, no holds bar, not really showing much. And that would have been really cool. Granted, it was cool that we saw Aquaman there. Yeah. But to have that breakdown moment with Batman would have been really cool. But oh well, that's okay. I am excited to see where DC moves forward.
And this gives me hope that they will move forward.
Yeah, but the concerns are out there now. Is getting what's going on with Superman. I mean, there are so many rumors running around of Henry Cavill hanging up the cape.
Same with the Batman rumors.
Well, the Batman rumors have been... Ben Affleck is out. I mean, that's definitely... That's
no longer a rumor.
That's no longer rumor, and even his brother accidentally let it out during an interview. They are looking for a replacement. So...
I'd question that just because, look at how many times we've almost lost our Captain America and our Iron Man. The actors have said multiple times, I'm done.
You're right, but that's different.
You're right. Disney's
they're
very deep pocketbooks.
Well, it's not even that. It's just they're not conflicting. There's not a cohesiveness problem between the studio and the actor. So that's kind of, I feel like that's what's going on. And I still can't get behind. So, I mean, if Cavill is out, I'm happy. I've never been able to get behind him being Superman. To be honest, he just, to me, doesn't feel the part, and the Superman they built him as just doesn't feel like Superman. He feels like a giant bully with superpowers. Honestly, I could totally go into Team Lex now because of the way they have made this Superman. He's not soft. He's not gentle. I mean, the scene we see at the beginning of Batman versus Superman, he just plows through a terrorist group to get to Lois. It's like, what? That's not Superman, in my opinion.
Right.
Superman is... Yeah, he's got all this strength, but he's very tender and soft, and he would rather solve a problem with words than throw out fists.
You know who I really think that the character that they put down for Aquaman is actually closer to the Superman character than they have been putting down for Superman.
Yeah.
And because he is in this movie, he's likable. He has a beautiful character arc.
Yeah.
He's not the only one too. Like, well, is he the only one? Hold on, now I have to actually
No,
think
Mara
about it.
has a good story arc.
She stands up for
Yep,
herself
she
and
stands
decides
up for
that she's going
herself.
to live her life.
We have a really good story arc, though it is small, with Aquaman's dad and his mom, which I rather enjoyed. You know, Jango Fett's in love with Nicole Kidman. Her outfit just bugged me, and her super super white hair drove me nuts.
Yeah.
But there were some good story arcs. Even the villain story arc was solid. You know, we got Dolph Lundgren under the sea.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, the guy would make an awesome King Trident. Just saying, if they ever decided to make a Little Mermaid. Oh, wait a minute, they already are.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there were some good story arcs. Every character I felt like had a good storyline. Even Black Manta. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I actually really enjoyed his character. Really enjoyed his story. Really enjoyed his motivation.
Yeah, he had a really strong motivation to be who he was, and I like that. Black Manta's never been a really big character I've enjoyed as a villain archetype, but I actually liked what they did with him.
Yeah.
Why he was going after the Aquaman, and even at the end, you know, with the Chinese scientist guy that's like very obsessed and no one believes him, and then he's like finds him. So there was a lot of good little tidbits to definitely make this series last.
Yeah, and I love the helmet gag. Like, gotta make them farther apart. Like,
Yeah.
I laughed so hard at that. I don't know why. That was my second favorite moment of the movie.
Yeah.
And of course, I gotta throw out my kudos to the best acting in the movie. My favorite moment, hands down, was the goat in the airplane. As soon as Aquaman and Mera both jump out of the plane, the goat, did you just see what they did? Like hands down, goat. You've won my Academy Award for this. You're bumping up the grade, an entire grade, just for the goat. It was a great moment.
The grade is going up because of a goat. No, I mean, it was good. There was some quirky stuff, like them jumping out of an airplane.
But I do like also that they explain why their bodies are so much stronger.
Yeah, their bodies are so much stronger because they're used to the depths. You know, and that's a lot of things that people don't understand. Aquaman's body is just as invulnerable as Superman's.
Yeah, I had no idea about that.
And he's just as strong. And granted, if Superman is pulling his punches a lot, so he may actually be stronger, but he has super strength, invulnerability, because his body is adapted to the pressures of the sea. He can go clear to the ground, even in the Marinara Trench. Nothing we know of can withstand that has oxygen within it. You know, he has punched out death. Superman hasn't. So there's a lot of different things about Aquaman that is not really well known, because no one can get past the orange and green or yellow and green spandex. Yeah.
Well, also it's the casting. Jason Momoa. Like, you cannot get better casting than that.
Oh, no. Yeah, he is awesome. Even as Drago in Game of Thrones. Yeah, though he wasn't around long, it was still a really awesome character.
Nobody's ever around long in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Jason Momoa can deliver a character really well.
I also loved his character in Stargate Atlantis back in the day.
Yeah. I loved him in Atlantis.
From Atlantis to Atlantis.
Yeah.
Can we call that?
Look at that. He came full circle. Except for Atlantis is on the Earth now, not out in the Pegasus.
Spoiler.
Spoiler?
It's only
if
been
you
out
don't
10
know
years.
that. So all around, good movie.
No, I did enjoy it.
Not a bomb.
Not a flop, not a bomb.
But not as good as Bumblebee.
No, nowhere as good as Bumblebee.
Yeah. Okay.
Honestly, I would have liked to have seen this movie as a summer possible blockbuster.
Okay.
But I can understand why they didn't with Avengers coming out.
Well,
they don't even
with Avengers, all that stuff. Not only that, they probably didn't know how well of a draw Aquaman would get. I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, even though Aquaman is one of the founding members of the Justice League,
he's still Aquaman.
He is Aquaman, the butt joke of the Justice League.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many Aquaman jokes. I mean, so much so that there's kind of an Aquaman-ish character in SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yeah.
He is just... he is the joke. You know, you watch Big Bang Theory, and they're like picking which superhero from Justice League they are, and Raj ends up with Aquaman. I don't want to be Aquaman. This sucks. No one wants to be Aquaman, but Jason Momoa. Now I guarantee you, we're gonna see tons of Aquaman cosplay. People are gonna want to be Aquaman because of this movie.
Oh, that's why that's why I'm so glad that they threw in that first scene with the bullies, like, because that's every single kid in America like making fun of Aquaman for like the last 20 years, right there. And then, what, you're gonna talk to fish? You're gonna talk to fish?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's the other thing. That's all anyone's ever thought. Oh, Aquaman, superpower. He can swim really fast and he can talk to fish. No, he's invulnerable. He has super strength. Yes, he can talk to fish and swim really fast, but come on, super strength and bullets don't pierce him, and neither do knives? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Yes, I would rather be able to fly than swim really fast, but, you know, with how much water is on the planet, that's not really a game changer unless you're stuck in Utah.
Because also breathing underwater, that would be
and he can
cool.
breathe underwater, too.
Yeah.
I mean, so much so that apparently an Atlantean, you know, that's suffocating can stick his head in a toilet and be okay.
That was hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, toilet joke. Man. But, anyways, all right. So, we're almost out of time. So
final grades?
Yeah, final grades. Go for it.
Oh, no. You have to go first on this one.
I'm going first. I'm giving it a solid B. It's not in the range of an A. Good film. Fun. Good action. Good pacing. Story was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. There were some moments that the dialogue could have been better. Mm-hmm. But the CG, as good as it was, there were moments that it was just too much for me. I really wish we could have gotten something a little bit more solid. Granted, I understand. You can't film underwater.
Yeah.
You know, you have to make that up. But there were just scenes where someone would turn and walk away, and then suddenly you see how their feet are up and they're kicking, and it just didn't look real.
Yeah.
So that
pulled me out of it, too.
Yeah, that kind of bugged me and pulled me out. But the rest of it gives me that B.
I hate giving grades for a movie like this, because honestly, it was a fun movie. Mm-hmm. I'd have to go with a C.
That's actually what I was thinking you were going to go with this whole time. That's okay.
I have to. I want to up that to C+. In fact, I'm going to up it to C+. Okay. I'm going to up it to C+. The only things that really bring me down are the overuse of CG, which, honestly, to tell the story, I don't see how you could avoid that. It's just, it pulled me out so bad. It felt, I don't know why, it just reminded me of Wakanda and Thor having a baby, like those two movies having a baby, except having it like as a water birth.
Yeah.
In the tub. That's what this reminded me of. It was that super cheesy and with the CG, it pulled me out.
Yeah.
With the natural cheese of the whole theory of it. Yeah. I don't know why. I just feel like
I'm just super happy there wasn't this weird awkward moment with a dolphin ever in the movie. If they would have thrown a dolphin anywhere in there, game over for me.
Was there not a dolphin?
I didn't see any dolphins. I saw giant sharks.
I heard a dolphin. I know at one point.
I'm sure there were dolphins, but there wasn't like him interacting with any dolphin.
No.
But you saw sharks. You saw these weird,
beautiful,
dinosaur-looking
and that was another part that brought it down for me, is that battle at the end. It was just so epic, so huge, so grandiose. I'm just like, honestly, I don't really think we needed that much.
Oh, okay, that reminds me. That's the other thing that kind of brings me down for it. We have this gigantic Titanic battle, and they stop to kiss.
Yeah,
what the heck?
What is that? Why?
Who in the middle of a battle? I mean, that's like the perfect time. Dude, look, they're kissing. Headshot. Pfft, game over. We win.
Yeah, exactly. This is like the peak of battle, and it was an unnecessary. It wasn't the right time or location. It should have been after everything.
Yeah, I mean that would have been like, okay, where the Gladiator movie, Maximus is in the middle of the Titanic battle with all these guys zipping around and he's yelling orders, and the girl comes down and gives him a kiss in the middle of that. What? That has nothing to do with it. And our timer's up.
Or beforehand, even before, like as he comes out in the gold, like, well, probably not then. Maybe as he was going to go down to get the trident.
Yeah.
Like, as she's saying possible goodbyes. I could see that.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, but not
in
right
the middle
there.
of battle. Yeah,
No.
It was just bad timing.
Yeah. Director's cut, that needs to be cut.
Anyways, so we're out of time, folks. Final thoughts. Good movie. It is a good movie.
I definitely think people should go see it. It's
Yeah.
worth it's worth the money that it's making.
Yeah.
And I have not heard one person who's gone and seen it. I'm talking like younger kids. I've talked to older adults, and every single one has the exact same opinion that it was a fun movie, that they were glad that they went, that it was awesome.
It was an enjoyable ride.
Yeah.
I
think
no one is going like, man, that was crap. Like we saw with Batman versus
even when
Superman,
we have our
or
nitpicks.
with Justice League. It's still a good, fun movie. It's fun. It's enjoyable to watch. It's definitely a popcorn flick. You can sit down and watch it and enjoy it for what it is.
I'm so tempted to bring it up to a B-.
Ooh,
should I be nice?
I'm convincing Scott to bring it up.
I'm pulling it up because of public demand, like
Public demand
opinion.
and the GOAT. You got to do it for public
opinion.
demand and the GOAT.
I feel like I'm Aaron Burr now. What is it? Don't speak, listen. Smile more.
Yeah,
I feel like that's what I have to. Just because everybody just seems to be loving it, and you can't go wrong. I guess you can, but
it's a C+ with a tentative B- for points for the people in the GOAT. We'll leave it at that.
It is a 100%. You need to see this on a $5 Tuesday movie. Like, see it in the theaters.
Definitely see it in the theaters.
Because otherwise, you're not going to catch the little tiny details like in that battle. Because there are some seahorses that are just awesome.
Yeah, I will agree. There was some really cool sea animals and sea life that they put on display. So for those of you listening, check us out. If you have Spotify and you're out and running around, or even at the office, we definitely are streaming on Spotify, as well as all the other cool places you've heard us on with Stitcher, Radio FM, and all Apple, iTunes, and so on and so forth. So check out our upcoming shows. We're going to have David Weber coming on the show to talk about his new book. Lee Modisette Jr. coming on to talk about his the 20th anniversary of the Recluse series and his new book that he has coming out. So that'll be really cool. And we have some other really cool things coming up and in the works, and we'll talk to you about those next time. Until then, we're out of here.
What do you mean DVD? What do you mean Deadpool's coming to DVD? Once Upon a Deadpool, that can't come out to DVD, can it?
Yep, Once Upon a Deadpool coming to DVD.